President Biden has said that Israel and Hamas should really try to seize on this momentum from the Israel-Hezbollah agreement and try to work out a ceasefire deal because of it, in light of it. As a former Israeli diplomat yourself, how likely do you think that will be before the end of Biden's term? It's right around the corner.
Approximating zero. The likelihood of that happening, I'm sorry to say that. Look, President Biden has been persistent and adamant for over a year asking for a ceasefire, and more than once said that Israel exhausted the military usefulness of the operation. Now he has 50 days before he leaves office on the 20th of January, approximately 50 days. Mr. Netanyahu has a vested interest not to reach a ceasefire. When he does, he'd like to present it as some kind of a good gesture of goodwill to his buddy Donald Trump. And Hamas, they seem in the last 2 or 3 days, they seem to be sending out messages that they are interested in a ceasefire, but I just can't see that happening right now.
Well, with this new art of the deal president-elect about to take office, if there is no ceasefire deal by Inauguration Day in January, what do you expect to happen once Trump takes office?
Well, that's a good question, Anna. On the one hand, he has sent several messages that he wants this wrapped up before he enters the White House on January 20th. The latest was Senator Lindsey Graham, who supposedly spoke on his behalf or was privy to the president's thinking and said yesterday, I think it was published in Axios, he said, the president, Lindsey Graham said, the president would appreciate if there's a ceasefire and a hostage deal before January 20th. But the assumption that I'm right and Lindsey Graham is wrong here and there won't be a ceasefire until then, I think that what's going to happen, what's going to transpire is that Prime Minister Netanyahu is going to try and cajole President Trump and even manipulate him as he always does, and starts telling him that for all intents and purposes, there is a ceasefire already. It hasn't been announced because there are small-scale operations, intelligence-driven incursions. And Mr. President, bear with me, whatever plans you have for the Middle East, they'd be better off and have a higher likelihood of happening if Hamas is removed. Now, Hamas will not be removed. Mr. Netanyahu, for the last 14 months, has promised, futilely that ultimate victory, final victory, eradication, obliteration, elimination of Hamas. That hasn't happened, and that won't happen unless Israel occupies the entire Gaza Strip, which, to the best of my knowledge, Israel has no intentions of doing.
Alon, I mean, this has just been going on for so long, and few people understand the inner workings of Israel's government better than you do. What do you think all this means for Netanyahu and his coalition in Israeli parliament? I mean, we also have the International Criminal Court saying they would arrest Netanyahu if they could for crimes against humanity.
Yes, if he enters one of the 124 countries who are party to the International Criminal Court. Yes, that's true. Look, there was a poll released yesterday, Anna. 71% of the public wants the war to end and for a hostage deal to be struck. Furthermore, 56% of those who voted for Likud of one of the satellite parties that are inside Mr. Netanyahu's coalition, 56% said the same thing. End the war, bring back the hostages. So I think Netanyahu is going to be under domestic pressure. Now, until now, he's resisted that pressure. He couldn't care less. He's not acting as a democratically elected leader. The consultation forums are rubber stamp features. And so I can't really tell you what's going on in the government because he's under tremendous pressure from what you mentioned correctly, Anna, the ICC. But also there is his own criminal trial for bribery and corruption in which he needs to provide testimony on December 8th or 10th. And so he's under tremendous pressure.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.